So we've got the old CX500 seat off, and we are going to recover the seat. This is literally the last job to do on the bike before we sell it. I have done quite a lot to this bike. I've done a full service on it, so oil, filter, air filter. I've replaced the caps, the plugs, the ignition unit. I've done some work to the electricals, so sort of renewed some of the wiring, got the rear brakes working, got the indicators working. So all the mechanicals and the electricals have been sorted out, and now it's just really the final bits, like the appearance of the bike. It's a pretty tidy bike, but the seat let down unfortunately, because it's got a gaffer taped up area there and not quite such a babble on that side. But to a potential buyer, for the sake of a few quid, I think we can renew this seat. Got a straight swap here, which should just plonk on where we take the old one off, and it's just really a matter of buttoning it down nice and tidily. So we're going to get that done. It's a very old bike, obviously it's a classic bike, so it doesn't have like a blown plastic seat base. It's metal and it's got a bit of rust on it. To be fair, actually it's probably the worst part of the bike. So I'm going to put a bit of cure rust on it as well. But the seat covers are held on by these sort of spikes that are sat around the edges, and a lot of those are going to be rusted through and broken. They're just not going to be usable again, so I'm not going to be able to put this seat cover straight on here using the spikes that are around the edge. So I'm going to take the seat cover off. I'm going to kind of either pull off what's left of the spikes or push them back in, whatever I need to do. And I'm going to use what are brand new spike strips. You just need to rivet them in. So you need to get a drill and a suitably sized rivet and a rivet gun, and away we go. I'm not sort of say it's going to be straightforward, but let's get started, shall we? You can see it's just coming off bit by bit. I really have no trust in any of these spikes whatsoever. There's just not enough of them left, and not enough of them that are strong enough to be able to be bent backwards and then back into place again. So I just did the sensible and obvious thing and ordered some spike strips designed for the purpose of fixing down seats covers from a website, well, from an eBay shop of a company that specialise in sort of reupholstering motorcycle seats. So quite happy with what I've got. It's actually quite nasty under here. It's not particularly clean at all. You sort of think it's protected from the weather, but I suppose 37 years of life, it's you know, it gets in, doesn't it? Although the bike's been sat for 9 years before I had it, and it's been in my garage 18 months being worked on, so not too tricky, this job, to be honest. It seems okay. It's getting the pliers under some of the spikes actually. Some of these spikes are okay, but you know, I can't. It's either you need either an entire set of decent, solid spikes all the way round, or none at all. You just need to go with something new. And some of them just seem to be past it anyway, so the seat cover just kind of falls away when you give it a slight pull. Like that. In a minute now we'll be all the way round. There you go, I think we're all the way around, so just hoping that little screwdriver and take off this Just need to get this off. Yeah, that's the wrong size. It's too loose in there. You need something, just find the best fit really. Yeah, it's quite possibly a JIS screw, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know when them. Oh, no, I don't want to move. Ooh-wee. Oh, that does not want to move. I should have probably got that off on the bike. In fact, what I might do, because I need to kind of get some proper strength on it without the seat moving, I might just put the seat back on the bike. So I can get some force behind the screwdriver. That actually worked. I put it back on the bike and I got all my weight behind it, and I realised it had a, for some reason, a split pin of all things going through the end of the bolt. Why would you have that on what is ridiculously just a strap, a decorative strap? Doesn't make any sense. But my little plan worked because I got that screw loose. I might just clean this up afterwards with a bit of auto sol and see what happens. So there you go. Let's just put that aside. You can see how much rust is dropping off this thing, but let's see if this one's any looser. We'll see if we need to also get some. Yeah, we need to get this one back on this side loosened while it's on the bike as well. So it's a bit dark down here, so you probably can't see it, but just weirdly, this just, well, not weirdly at all, it just gives a bit more leverage, doesn't it? Because I haven't got to hold the actual seat. Well, that was not the easiest job in the world. I've got the seat cover kind of pulled back now, which is absolutely fine. I had to basically take the strap across the centre off, and that's now in the bin because it's utterly destroyed. Let me bring you in and show you what I did. Hang on. So the bolt on this side, that came out nice and easily. You can see that's all gone, which is fine. I just unscrewed, and the bolt on this side didn't. So I had to angle grind it, which destroyed the strap in the process, and you can see the back of the bolt still in there. Just didn't want to come out, it was rounded off, I couldn't drill it out, so I had to take an angle grinder to it anyway. But there you go, that's all done. Anyway, so we're nearly at the final stages of just removing the old seat cover, and I just need to deal with the base of the seat pan really, because there's quite a lot of corrosion there. In the main it's fine actually. That's quite know what's gone wrong there. That just needs bending back in and straightening up, which will be okay. And if you come round, you can see this very sort of centre portion of the seat. There's a bit of rust there, so that just needs treating with a bit of cure rust, so I'm going to go over that. Again, just a bit of corrosion all the rest of the way round, which is fine, nothing too much. Bit of rust there, again just treat with a bit of cure rust, not going to have a massive effect, but there's a bit of loose that needs to come off. And you come back round to this centre portion here, and that is actually quite fatigued, unfortunately. So there's a little bit more material missing there, because it's not a nice straight edge. If you think that's what the edge should look like, a nice clean straight edge with lots of material, and a lot of the material has actually disappeared there. So I'll just need to put some cure rust on that, and yeah, just sort of kind of straighten things up a little bit really. There's a few bits in the middle that need doing around here, but yeah, I don't quite know why it's so rusty really, because the bike has been dry stored and it's been very well looked after, so I can only assume that this in the very distant past has been out in the wet, and yeah, doesn't look great. Anyway, so what I shall do is I'm just going to show you, these are the strips, the spike strips, which will replace or just go over the top of and around the outside. I've got 6 of them, it cost me about £12, and I will just need to cut them and sort of fit them appropriately, and I will just rivet them to the sides. And the spikes themselves they must be about 15mm, I reckon. You can see there, about 15mm, so they're very good in terms of the amount of material they'll hold. And then you just stretch material over, and then you just sort of, once you're happy with it, you just bend them down, and then hopefully actually what I'll be able to do is sort of bring the spike strip sort of up at an angle, and that will actually be more of a solid edge, because the metal down it is quite solid still. It's fatigued, but it's still solid. It looks worse than it is anyway, but yeah, there you go. So not great seat pan, to be perfectly honest, but it will do. It will have to do. I've also got some sort of rubber edging, because what came off of here was this old edging strip, which again is, I'd imagine, as old as the bike's probably going to be 35, 36 years old, isn't it? I think well, the bike's 37 coming up. It's not very pliable now. Actually, you just bend it and it's, you know, just, yeah, anyway, that needs to go in the bin. So I've got some new edging strip which I'll fit. I didn't buy it specifically, I already had some available from some other jobs I've been doing, so I don't know if I've quite got enough, but it doesn't matter because I'll just get a little bit more. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to use some cure rust, Hammerite cure rust, and I'm just going to go over all those little patches. You need to give it a couple of applications really, let it dry for about 3 hours and then come back and do it again. So I'm going to give it one go now, leave it, and then come back later and do it again, and then I can start getting this seat cover off and the new one back on. But I just need to really make sure that the edge of this seat pan is going to be solid enough to take the new seat cover. It should be. I mean, the old ones come off all right, but you know, when you start upsetting things, of course, it does weaken them a little bit, doesn't it? So anyway, in the main, it's okay. It's very tired, and it's not really worth replacing, to be perfectly honest. So I am just going to get on and reuse it. That's really weird. I don't quite know how that's got bent out like that. It looks like it's been deliberately cut and pushed out for some reason. I really don't know why, but it's very odd. So I'll just bend that back in, because that is definitely going to push on the seat cover anyway. So, oh well, there you go. Right, we'll leave it there for now and we'll come back to it when it's dry. I've just searched through my box of bits, and this is literally the only bit of rubber edge strip that I've got left, so I'm going to need to order some more of this in, because this is what will go along the edge of the metal seat pan, just to completely soften the edge, especially around the corroded areas, which will then allow the seat cover to pull over it without getting any nicks or tears in it or anything like that. So yeah, a little bit of restoration work done on this seat pan, it'll be good to go. So there you go. Well, come back tomorrow when that's all dry and we'll put coat number 2 on. Right, okay, so here we are, all completely treated up with cure rust. Time to get some of these what do you call them, little spike strips fitted. Gonna need to just chop it about to size really. fiddly. .2mm diameter, 6mm shank. There you go. That is my first bit of spike strip. That's pretty nasty stuff, that, judging by what it's just done to my finger. Although, to be fair, it was spinning around on the drill bit as my thumb got in the way. Well, I know there's not much blood there now, but I've just washed my hands. Right. Anyway, I cancelled the ambulance. Managed to sort out that near-death experience myself. There you go. Blimey, that one's much flipping heck. Alright, fair enough. The angle that you cut it at doesn't always make a good angle for putting the rivet in, because it's got to go through 2 layers. I'm not absolutely convinced that's the right. No, I'm going to try the bigger one. The shank's the same width, it's just longer. It's better. Get a grip again. There you go. Still kind of need a spike in the corner, really, don't I? Slightly too long there, and I've already riveted that end, so what I'm going to do is just get my tin snips out, I think, and chop it off about there. There you go. It's not going to go to waste. That'll, well, when I've got this bit riveted, now that'll go up at an angle there, like this side. Cool. Right, so here we go. These are the bits that are going to need just that bit more attention. That's all good. Right, sir, I'm just going to go into a bit of not so good metal. I'm just going to bring it over here a bit. If this needs any reinforcing, then obviously I've got more spike strip and I've got more metal in other places that I can just... Not too worried, I think this is okay. There you go. That rubber edge I've got then will go over that nicely, just to make that into one. That's pretty solid. It's not all, you know, it's solid metal. It's just fatigued, but you know, it's just a seat pan. Ain't taking no strain, is it? Not unless the person who buys a real heifer lump. But all joking aside, That's just taking no strain whatsoever, and it's been fine for the last 37 years. It's got a lot of time getting it to that stage, and I've just rust cured it, so it's fine. I'm taking the decision just to move these spike strips a little bit lower than the original. A little bit lower than the original spikes. Simply because the metal is just that little bit stronger. There you go. If we put it there, yeah. So last strip going in. I was just kind of thinking we literally just need one long continuous piece and no more really. There you go, spike strip all on. You can see the spikes are about 1.5 inches, 2 inches at some points apart. It's just these centre points really. I'm just thinking hopefully the material that's got to come over there, it won't, you know, I might stick one more little spike down there, I don't know yet. I think it'll be fine. All in all, looking pretty good, huh? Next job is to get the rubber edge around, which I've got on order. When that arrives, we'll get that done. 5-minute job, and get the new seat cover on. It's coming along. So it was a 3.5mm HSS drill, and we were using 3.2mm rivets. These ones are 6mm long. I think these are probably 10 or 12mm long, just depending on the actual piece of metal I was going through at the time. So here we go, we've got the next bit of the job to do. You can see that clearly, it's the rubber edging strips, 2 meters of the length, and it's, so you can see it's 5mm across and about 10mm deep, so it should just sit over the edge like that. There you go, and go all the way around, and then that'll just protect all of the seat cover from all of these sort of hard and some places sharp edges, and it should sit on there quite neatly and not come loose or anything like that. I just will need to ease it on in some places and that kind of stuff, but anyway, when the seat cover stretches over it, it will hold it firmly in place. So there you go. Well, that just replaces the show you this really tired old piece that I took off, which you can see has just lost all of its malleability. You'd never get that bit back on, it's absolutely foobar. Anyway, chuck that in the bin and we'll crack on and fit this new piece. Pretty good, about £4. So let's get that on there first. This bit's just a slightly tricky bit because it's kind of jagged and what have you, but it'll be fine. There we go, that's gone over there, and that was probably the worst bit of it. I was going to say, it'd be easy to get it on if you had like a little bit of like washing up liquid or some other sort of lubricant, detergent of some sort that just helped it on, but actually being it's rubber and you want it to be really grippy, I'd rather spend the extra little bit of time just teasing it on, and then when it's on it's got no incentive to go anywhere or come loose. Now that was actually the worst bit of the edge, because it's gone across, and that's all on there and fine. %, of the way round now. Yeah, I could have just used scissors. Cool. Let's get the seat cover on. Not much talking going on here because I'm just concentrating. There you go. So basically, that's the seat cover on. That just took a couple of minutes. Rubber edge strip on, seat cover on. This will all just, it will just settle. And the important bit is that you've got all the piping going across at on the right edge, so it's not sort of all ski whiff, and particularly around the front edge and the back edge where it's obviously visible. And then when you look at the sign at the back, it just needs to be kind of straight and level really, which it is, which is all nice. So there you go. That probably just needs a little bit more pulling taut around some of these edges, which I'll crack on and do, because you can just sort of lift it off and tease it further over. You just push your spikes across to hold it firmly in place. There we go. So that's a nice brand new seat. You can see all the piping is in exactly the right place. Honda logo, what have you? All nice. So we just need to get this back on the bike. Firstly, before we get this back on the bike, there's one little fixing that we need to do, and that's these two brackets here, which go on the underside. So let's get those on, and then we can just get this seat back on the bike and the job finished.